Welcome, Brody. Rodrigo, Akas, welcome. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. Make sure I get this camera shot. Hey, Ruiz. Welcome, Ruiz, friend of the show. How you doing? I'm doing very well, man. Working on this chip breaker for this old plane. I kind of worked on. I cheated a little sometimes. I do stuff when the show's not going, and I worked on this big plane, which you can't really see in the shot at the moment. Um, but I think this little plane's going to be fairly easy, other than this sole plate, which I don't think is even completely. Um, I could take it over the belt sander for a couple passes, uh, but I think some of the damage is kind of irreversible. I just want to make sure that the chip breaker is smooth and polished so that it pushes the chips away. They don't get caught, you know, on a strop or pieces of metal or pieces of rust or whatever. Thanks. You too, man. If you did say you're doing well, how are you doing there, Ruiz? How's everything going for you, man? You notice with this chip breaker that it almost looks like someone tried to sharpen it, but it is not a blade. So you have to be careful you don't sharpen the chip breaker. That could have happened a long time ago. This is a very old tool, but it is confusing the different parts of a plane, and they didn't have the internet in the 1930s, so I can imagine if somebody really didn't know, they could sharpen the wrong part of this. And I can see that looks like it may have happened. Give it one more pass with this rust removing stuff. This is how I get the rust off my golf clubs too, if you're curious. I'm sure you all love golf so much. But you get rust on your nice golf clubs, just some like 1,000 grit sandpaper, some rust remover, and just it'll rust again quickly, so you're gonna have to do it again probably. But see, even here, I can feel the rust is like above the surface, and I gotta really get that even. Yeah, Top Golf is fun, man. Give it up to Top Golf for making golf interesting again. You know, Top Golf really revolutionized the fun of golf. I know people who started golfing after they went to Top Golf, and now they're pretty good. You know, they went there for a party or something, and they ended up um, picking it up. So I haven't played in a long time, but I still follow it. Here we have the chip breaker and the blade. This is the blade. Blade's got its own rust issues. I think this is polished enough for this piece right here. I don't want to take too much material off and mess the dimensions up. So I'm gonna leave that as it is there. Then I'm gonna attack this this blade piece here. One of these planes I have, the chip breaker and the blade are stuck together. I cannot get them apart, so I have to figure out a way to get those apart. Heather says try some WD-40. She's pretty handy, so I'm gonna try that idea. It's not a great smell. It's kind of a musty smell. I got the AC running in here pretty strong too, so it mitigates that chemical smell. The same stuff I used to remove rust off the old chests. I'm trying to avoid the blade here when I do this. The blade edge. And so I'm not gonna grind this with any kind of grinder. I'm gonna go over the bevel side like I would a chisel. Hey Daniel, what's up, man? Friend of the show, Daniel's here. Yeah, a little bit of a slow night, Daniel. Working on this chisel here, not chisel, this plane blade and this chip breaker for this little plane right here. A bunch of other stuff needs to be done to this too. I could use this paint removed, and you know, I'm not going to go through all that though. Just as long as the plane is operational, that's what I'd like to see. Obviously, where moisture built up between the chip breaker and the blade because they've been attached for 100 years, the moisture built up there, and you have more rust in that spot. So this is the 800 grit paper right here. It's all right though, Daniel. We give you one unexcused tardy. It doesn't go on your permanent record, you know. So don't worry about it. I'll let this one go, you know. This backside, like Haint was pointing out yesterday, is the most important thing to flatten out. Apparently, the back plate. That's really like what you're supposed to focus on. But the blade is kind of schmutzy, so I think it needs to be done on the blade side too. There's some like stuff on corrosion and or you know material in the blade that has to come off, in my opinion, in my limited experience. Ruiz, you're the teacher's pet, man. You're officially, you know, you are. Man, true story. My photography teacher put a picture of my class on his door, and I was circled in it. It said my favorite student when it was parent teacher night. I heard one of the parents complaining about it. He did not care. Good guy. Shout out Mr. Handshake wherever you are. Somewhere in Florida, I think. Getting to the end of that stuff, whatever the stuff was on the blade. Yeah, it's in there. Let's move to the 1,000. That was 800 grit. Yeah, man, I was definitely, and I was the class clown in his class, but he would shut me down really quickly too. He didn't have a problem doing that either. Some of the stuff he said to me, I actually can't say on here. So it was tough love. You know, I'm not on Patreon, Daniel. Good question. That's actually something I probably should do, isn't it? Start a Patreon. Pretty soon I'll be able to take super chat money, you know, and of course that'll be used to build, you know, to get materials for the show for the live too. Um, Probably in 2 to 3 months, YouTube will start allowing me to take super chat money donations. I would say welcome to Dad's Workshop. We're a little bit low on people, so it's probably my regulars in here today. Welcome, regulars. Appreciate you all. Make the show happen. I'm almost at all that junk that was on the blade is gone almost. So we're almost to where we can kind of test the sharpness of it and try to kind of calibrate it in the device, in the body of the plane. Good point, Daniel. Daniel says I need to customize that angle block. Yeah, I was thinking I could do something like this. Put a screw through it here so that it's actually attached to the piece. Seems like I still get stuff pretty sharp, but I agree. I agree completely. And I'm not good at like building jigs. I hate doing it. It's like not one of my things, but that's kind of like basically a sharpening jig. All right, let's put this thing back against the chip breaker. Make sure that the chip breaker is clean. You want to attach this thing so that you don't hit the blade with the chip breaker when you put it back on. This is tricky. Let's do this here. So start with it low. Actually, it should be on this side, right? Nope. I got it wrong. It goes on the other side of the chip breaker. Yesterday, Dan, you asked me a question about the direction of the blade. In this case, these blades are tipped downward. At least in this one over here, it is. So kind of counterintuitive with that. See, I just touched the blade tip with that. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to, like, when you take it off, make sure that you're twisting from down here so you don't hit the blade face with it. It's got to be very, very close to do its job, a couple millimeters. I moved some stuff so I can try it out. I fully expect that I will have to take this back apart again and sorry if y'all didn't see that. What I was doing was spraying WD-40 or a petroleum lubricant into the frog, a little frog switch. Forget what they call it. All these little bits, they say, need to be lubricated when you're restoring these things. Thumb screw. Oops. All right. There's a nameplate on it. Usually it says like Union Made. It says Fulton Tool Company. That's going to be the top, though I could have put the chip breaker on wrong, so. This was the one where I found the frog in a different place than the plane. But it is the frog, I believe. This blade is probably too low, so I should probably leave this screw loosened until I'm not an expert on recalibrating planes. thumb wheel should move the blade though if it's incorrectly. That needs to be unlocked. This needs to be a little bit looser, I think. Let's check and see if that the thumb screw is lined up with the hole on the back of the blade. It is. So it is in there in place, right? Okay. That's a little bit low. Still catches the part. See, I don't care about this workbench, so it doesn't matter to me, but maybe the sole definitely feels like the blade is sharper. So now we're actually taking up material. Let's try it on a board. Maybe that blade needs to be back a little bit because you see the chip breaker's not pushing the chips out. Also probably needs to be sharper. It's tricky to get these things dialed in, man. I don't want to stick anything in there that's going to dull the blade. It's just a matter of taking everything back off again and I do think this little piece of wood that's stuck back here is getting in the way of it moving because it took too much material up. There we go. That's probably more like where it needs to be. Make sure that oops. It's so tricky. That's why you all tune in, see me make mistakes and stuff. I do wonder if I put the frog back on there wrong. I think that screw should be on the top. When you put the blade in, that doesn't mean I think the blade needs to go the other way in. I should have paid more attention to this when I took it apart. Nope, it's not right. I'm going to move the chip breaker a little bit closer to the blade. Not too close though. Yeah, let's do right there. Daniel said, do y'all read books? I mean, generally, yeah, I like to read books. Actually, I just think it needs to be sharpened. Yeah, see, because it's working, which is new, because it wasn't working before. It just needs, that blade needs sharpening and calibration. You know, I gotta calibrate it a little bit, but that's a start right there, man. Pop this and see if I can take it down just a slight bit. Little concerned about the sole, which is the bottom here. Little concerned about the sharpness of the blade, whether I put the frog on right. It is taking material off though. This is an old school plane. I think if I get it set right, you should see curls coming out through the top here, you know. Let's try a piece of pine. If you're new here, welcome to Dad's Workshop. hit that like button, click subscribe. Right now, I'm working on this. I have several projects, but I'm working on this plane here. Looks like it's just dull because it's taking material off. Let me see if I can pop it back a little. Looks like it's taking a little bit more off than I want. Yeah, I think it's sharpness, man. Because once that blade is sharp, that is a lot of material at once, I think. But it should cut with ease, you know. You shouldn't have to put force into it. Yeah, and y'all can see it's taking some force, so it's gonna take some more sharpening, I think. Yeah, that thumb screw's all the way back right now. Also think the blade is uneven, which it is. Yeah, not perfect, not dialed in at all yet. This would be a nightmare for a professional woodworker. They would hate this. Yep, I'm going to take this thing off again, not today, but probably in the off time. I'm going to take this off. I'll do it right now. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Take the frog off. Remove the blade again. I'm going to take the chip breaker off and sharpen the blade again. Put the chip breaker back on and do the whole sharpening process again. Because I think it's you know, like it's working again, or it's doing its job. 100 years old, so it needs a lot of like TLC, I think. Put this off to the side. Yeah, no, it's not bad. And this one too, right here, that I was working on earlier today, this one's actually almost dialed in. It's catching the little uneven spots in my workbench, you can see. So this one's getting there. I was working on this one earlier. It probably needs the frog like lubricated and stuff. I'll do that right now. The sound I already like, you know. Same deal with this one, 100-year-old tool. So I'm almost happy that it even, you hear how it's biting. which I really like. The fact that it is still, like the other one, needs a lot of calibration. Not worried about that ding, but we'll get it back. Chip breaker, probably I need to flatten that out. I read some stuff, did some stuff, did some other things. I did tighten the handle down, but it feels like it's a little bit loose again. So that blade is, you know, it's not bad. It just needs to be straightened and even out because it's taking material. My workbench is uneven city, so putting it on that probably puts it to the test. I think they stopped making these old block planes like this because the wood chips build up in here, but you should get it so that you're getting a nice ribbon, you know. This one's closer than the other one for sure. Alright, I'll stop fiddling around with those. Hopefully you're back. The box got low. Yeah, it's dead. Oh, okay. Well, this one came back. Somebody brought up a rasp the other day. This is a job for a rasp. I'm gonna put tung oil on it in a second. I put cherry on this side. I was gonna originally put walnut on the other side, but I decided against it. Oh yeah, you saw my Crocs? Crocs and socks. Yeah, I'm the carpenter in Crocs, man. That should be my channel name. The Crocked Carpenter. People would be like, "Are you the Crooked Carpenter?" That too. All right, let's put some tung oil on this mallet. Though this spot right here where the glue came through, it's not going to take stain very well. This is a combination of tung oil, linseed oil, and citrus solvent. This will give it a nice finish, protect it from water, protect it from insects, and help it age better. Couple coats of this, like you do one, then a few days later, usually ideally like 3 to 4 days later, you do another coat. The way I was taught was to apply it with fine sandpaper, so I think that helps it get into the grain. Yeah, I should. You know what I did? I put up another hook for it next to my other one, so it's with its brother, its big brother mallet. Maybe I'll round the edges a little bit, but I'm happy with it. Holds nicely for smaller jobs, or if I'm trying to get more impact on a smaller area. I might try it out today. Probably wouldn't be bad. We got our mallet complete. Let me get my microphone. All right. Next thing is to cut these two recesses for these boards in the bunk bed. Using the cross-cutting side of my Ryoba saw here, so you know. I'm gonna get a bigger chisel to do these stop cuts. And check the chat too. Sorry, folks. I am a little worried about this one, I'm gonna be honest with you, because it's right above another joint where a diagonal brace is put in place. I didn't run the numbers, you know, how much support wood there's gonna be. I'm just putting a stop cut on the other